So not bad. Hey folks, it's Lenny Magill with the GlockStore Performance and Custom Shop here in the beautiful Nashville studios today. And we're going to talk about the new MCK2, Generation 2. Obviously there was a Generation 1, and before that it was the Roni. But the concept is the same. It allows you to take a Glock handgun, or some other model handguns, and have a more stable platform on which to shoot. It's pretty phenomenal. And this new MCK2, the new one, is been redesigned to really incorporate some amazing features. And I think once you see it, you'll say, wow, I really want to have those, because you can now, with this device, shoot your Glock 50 yards, maybe even 100 yards with accuracy. We're going to show you basically how I like to set mine up, and give you a little bit of history about the MCK2 now. It used to be the Roni. Way back in the day, the Roni was the same concept, but it wasn't quite as refined. My friend and a good friend down in Florida, Mikey Hartman, Lieutenant Colonel retired from the Israeli Defense Force, he runs the company, and he looked at that Roni and just made it better. Made an MCK, and then with a lot of feedback from customers, and once he's kind of got the MCK rolling, he refined that even more to do the new MCK2, and it is truly phenomenal. I mean, it is, and the improvements are dramatic in the sense that it's much more ergonomic. It's got a much better grip. It's got some availability for accessories. It's got an availability to have a light or a laser at the front here. It really is awesome. It does, of course, have the stabilizer brace, which maintains your gun as a pistol. When you install it here, because of the stabilizer brace, it's still considered a handgun by the ATF, and they're legal as we speak right now here in November 2021. Anything can change, of course, in this crazy world, but bottom line is this will allow you to shoot your gun more accurately, more stable, which in turn makes it a safer product. Just like that. If you're more accurate, you're less likely to have bad things happen. So that said, let's go ahead and talk about how we're going to install a Glock. Now this one in particular, this model, is designed to fit basically all the small frame Glocks, small frame being 9mm, not the 43 and 43X, not those tiny ones, but the 9mm 40 caliber. It will fit your Glock 17, 19, 18 if you're lucky enough to have a full auto Glock, your Glock 19X, 22, 23, 31, the 32, and also the new Glock 45, which is the short, compact slide with the full-size grip. We're going to be working today with a Glock 17 Gen 5. And the first thing we want to do when we pick this gun up is make sure it's empty. Drop the magazine. The magazine is empty. Look, there's that orange follower that comes with the Gen 5 magazines. Keeping my finger off that trigger, I'm going to go ahead and peek inside of the slide, make sure there's no rounds stuck inside there, and now pull the trigger in a safe direction. Now I have a safe gun. There's no ammunition on the room. There's no loaded magazines here on this table. I'm not inadvertently going to load this gun. I know it's unloaded, and I know I can now work on it and safely install it into the MCK. So anytime you're working on handguns or working on any firearm, make sure the ammunition is removed from your workspace. Even out of the room is not a bad idea. No loaded magazines floating around, because it's just too easy to load and have an accident, because I'm not planning to shoot in here. But if there's ammunition around or loaded magazines, something bad could happen. So again, my finger is off the trigger. I'm going to go ahead now and install it into this MCK. Let's just go through a couple of the features. This is the loading gate in a sense. It's just a device that comes down. You push it forward. It kind of locks in place. You'll see that it's got a little orange piece right here that shows you that it is in the ready to fire position. So keep that locked, because we don't want the gun to fall down a little bit as you're shooting. So that actually will kind of lock the gun up there. This is the charging handle. It is one of the improvements they made here is they actually captured it inside of the frame of the MCK. The Roni, it used to be a separate device, and often, I should say, more often than not, because it was separate, you would put it on the gun and put it back up in there, then take it out and it'd be over here, and then it would be the Roni would be here, and the charging handle would be there, and all of a sudden that charging handle goes somewhere, and you had to get another one. So by capturing it in the frame, you're not going to lose it. That's a good idea. The front has been improved with a bigger and a more ergonomic grip. There are Picatinny rails on both sides as well as on the top, either for a light, or one of the accessories that is available is a really cool thumb piece. So it'll actually stick on right there like that. That allows you to really, get a thumb on top of that. And I'll show you how we install that because I like that myself. I like to ride my thumb on that kind of a pedal, a push pedal that you can actually push on as you're shooting, as you're pulling and pushing. So it's really neat. The other thing that they did here with this MCK is they incorporated a magazine holder, a spare magazine holder here at the front. It locks in with this little magazine button, and boom. Now the neat thing about this is it'll take any of the magazines, Glock 19 magazine, a 15 rounder, or a 17, which is what this is, or even the 33 rounder is going to stick in here, and you'll have plenty of ammunition. So that's actually a pretty neat little device. That said, let's go ahead and install. So like we talked about, this is the loading gate, and the objective is to push this little button down and pull back on the gate. Push down and pull back, and then lift the gate up, and that gives me access to this charging handle. Now, the charging handle has serrations on the inside of it that will match up the serrations on the actual Glock itself. So we know we have an unloaded gun. I'm going to pull the trigger in a safe direction. I'm going to go ahead and push up. Now, one of the things that you'll note is that the Picatinny rail on the Glock, or the rail on the Glock, is going to lock up with a bar inside of the frame that is manipulated with a spring-loaded lever on either side. So when we stick the gun inside, it's going to lock itself into the frame with that particular item. One other note to take is that when the gun comes shipped to you, the shroud is in the rearward position. I've already adjusted it with a 3mm Allen, taken the screws out and set it from the Glock 19 or compact position to the full-size position. So if you have a larger or a full-size gun, 22 or a 17 or a 31, you need to pull the shroud out or it won't fit. So you basically take your screws out on both sides, pull it out, and then move the screws to the next hole up, which will be appropriately marked as full or 17, F for full, C for compact, full size, compact size, 17, and then screw the holes back in, or screw the screws back into the hole to capture that shroud so it doesn't have any play to it. So I've already done that part. It's pretty simple. But keep in mind, it comes from the factory preset in the 19 position. So if you have a full-size gun, you got to pull it out. All right, pull the gate up. I'm going to go ahead and drop my gun into the Roni, the MCK, and now I'm going to be very careful to make sure that the rails on the side, the serrations on the side, will actually match up to the serrations inside of the charging handle. So we'll get this started. Actually goes pretty simple like so, and I can just look at it before I push down on it. Make sure it's pushed down, make sure it's fully engaged, and it's looking good. And now I'm going to go ahead and just give it a good slam up there and get it locked into place. All right, and it's locked in place like so. All right, now to take it apart, we just would pull down on our takedown levers. We're going to close our gate and then push it forward. So sometimes this takes a little bit of muscle, but there it is. And I can see the orange there. So now it's fully locked in position, and the charging handle will work, and the gun will cycle, which is perfect. Now, being that this is a plastic part, and I've had this conversation with Mikey Hartman down there, there's a lot of sharp pieces around here. So if you're industrious, you can just take some sandpaper and kind of sand down some of the sharp edges, because I can feel that on my hand as I'm shooting. Even this gate back here, I've actually gone in and just removed this piece because it intersects with my palm, or excuse me, my wrist right there a little bit, and it is pretty painful. This part right here intersects with my thumb. And, you know, it's got to be honest, you know, it's a sharp piece of plastic. So after a little bit of shooting, there's going to be some wear there. So what you do is just take a little piece of sandpaper and just grind down those pieces just to your liking. That's one of the things that I recommend, because this plastic, you know, it's not a problem right now, but when you start shooting really fast and there's a lot of vibration, you're going to feel it, and you'll have marks all over your hand. But that's a personal preference. So now what I like to do when I shoot this gun is I like to incorporate a red dot optic. You can see it's got an aluminum rail on it, which is perfect for a red dot optic. Now, there are tons of red dot optics available. I like to get one with a riser so it sits up a little bit higher, because I don't want to have to drop my face down all the way to a smaller optic. So what I'm going to show you today is the Holosun. And this one, you know, we like so much because it has a riser. It's a 503C. The other thing that I love about Holosun, it's got the solar panel, and that kind of helps supersede the battery. All right, these are the lens covers, of course. And of course, the third thing I like about this sight is the optic itself inside. It incorporates the circle dot. So it's got a circle, and it's got a dot in the middle. And you can run it with just the circle, you can run it with just the dot, or you can run it with both. The circle at about 10 yards, which is a good self-defense distance, is really about this big, which is a good self-defense sighting point. The dot is, you know, at 100 yards, it's a 2 inches, it's 2 MOA. The circle is 60 at 100 yards. So do your math and come down, and you can see this is about a 6-inch circle in 10 yards. So that said, that circle dot, I think, is just what puts the Holosun over, heads and above, over every other sight manufacturer. The dot alone is good. My eyes, I like to see the circle dot. I just pick up that circle so much faster. The dot sometimes is so small that I've got to find it. And it just takes practice, to be honest. But I'll be really serious. You know, for me, I just think the circle dot is the great technology. And I love the fact that it's got a riser already. So what I'm going to do now is just pop it on the rail. This is really this simple. And I want to, before I tighten it down, I actually want to kind of get it set. And I want to bring it up to my face and see how I like it. You know, how does it feel? So to me, what I'm looking for is I want it to be close enough that it basically allows me to keep both eyes open and bring up the gun to my face, and I'm looking right through the optic without having to move my head whatsoever. So that's what the objective is to just keep myself in that natural position, bring the gun right up. And where is it? There it is, right there. So I want to go ahead and focus on an item and bring the gun right up into that spot. And I want to focus on a small item because I want to be, at these distances, I want to be super accurate. Okay, so now it's kind of pre-loosened. I've already put the battery in, by the way. The little battery tray is right here. One little note, just so you don't get confused, is the negative side goes up on this particular battery. So when you put it in, it's positive down, negative up. Okay, so now I'm going to take my 2mm. There's a wrench that comes with the piece, but obviously it's a lot easier to use one of these guys. And this is the 2mm torque that's going to allow me to tighten this down. And this one, if I were to be building this to keep, I would put some Loctite on eventually. So let me go to this one now, which has a little better fit than that. There we go. Okay, that looks great. Now, like I talked about earlier, I'm going to go ahead and put on one of the accessories, and we'll talk about all the accessories while we're at it. It does come with pop-up sights as well. That's part of this accessory kit, which is an extra item. It's not really included, but if you want the accessory kit, here's what comes with it. The two front and rear sights, the two thumb rests, and sling, really nice sling too. Sling swivel, really nice sling swivel to be honest. And of course a laser, or you can buy it with a light. So the laser is an optic option. Let's see, where is it on? It's going to be on. There it is right there. Laser's an option, and there's a light option as well. I would prefer to have the light, to be honest. I think it's more practical. The single point sling concept, we'll take any of your single point slings, but it does come with one, and it's really not a bad package when you buy all this stuff together, where there's a great discount on the whole piece. You can buy each one of these things separate as well, but it does come pre-packaged. So this is kind of how I like to set it up. Like I said, I will put on one of the what we'll call the thumb rests, and so basically it's just going to slide through here, and it's going to capture itself on the plastic, just like so. And if I can lift it up just a little bit more, there we go. So that's kind of it. I think I'll pick it right there. So that's how this is going to drive. So you can see that all set up right there. So they've done a nice job with the ergonomics, and the only thing I would say is that they could make these a little less sharp. But at the end of the day, you can do that yourself, because it's really just a piece of plastic that can be form-fitted to your hand. Don't let it sit there and tear you up. If it doesn't feel good, hey, fix it, because you won't enjoy shooting it if you really get aggressive with it. So that said, let's go ahead and take this out the range and actually run through a couple drills with it and show you why I think this is a must-have if you really like your Glock and you want to use it for home defense or self-defense. I mean, it really takes it to the next level, because it allows you to shoot so much more accurately and so much faster, because it eats up a lot of the recoil. And we're going to show you that right now. All right, we're now here in the big range here in Nashville, setting up for a USPSA match. Got a couple of things going on down here, so I thought I'd take advantage of it with this MCK. I've got, as you can see, I've got the sling on. Now, one thing I didn't show you in the studio there was that the stock does fold, and it does have a little clip there to kind of hold on to it, so you can actually travel with it like so. You can actually shoot it like that as well. That's one of the nice things about this sling. It gives you the ability to kind of push out and have some kind of resistance for that front sight. Now, keep in mind, the riser and the bore have about a 2 to 3 inch difference. So at these close distances, I've got to hold high to get the shot to go where I want it to go, just like an AR-15. So the idea being that the sight is higher than the bore, and because of that, at close distance, you have to hold over. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out, put it back to where it goes. We're going to come up here, and we're going to engage one target from this side, come across here, do these 3 targets on dun-doo, dun-dun-doo, and then come down here and get on top of this guy. Boom, 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 boom. And, just have some fun. But the nice part about this particular device is that it eats up a lot of recoil. And it allows you to shoot extremely accurately. So I put one magazine in here, and while we're at it, might as well put the other magazine into the spare magazine holder. All right, there we go. Now the charging handle, we're going to go ahead and charge. I always like to look inside while I do so, so I'll come out here in the light a little bit. There it is, stripped off around. We're ready to go. Finger is still outside of the trigger area. Okay, so now, we're not going to put a timer on here. We're just going to kind of have some fun. Got my hand up here where I want it to be. Going to come across and do here. Across and do here. and here, and come across. So not bad, fun stuff. You know, you can see you got a lot of control. Drop the magazine, and we can switch magazines and go right back at it and do it one more time, because that, my friends, was a ton of fun. So we'll do it one more time. And there we go. All fun, and the kind of stuff you can do here at our range that you can't really do anywhere else. So if you're looking to improve your Glock, looking to improve your shooting, come out here to the Nashville GlockStore and pick up some accessories and shoot in the Shoot270 range. I'm Lenny Magill. This, of course, is the GlockStore Performance and Custom Shop, and inviting you to come to Nashville and check out the facility. I know you'll enjoy it. Thanks for watching.